This is an avocado, and this is a podcast. That makes this an avocado podcast.
You are now listening to The Young God, a podcast for the gods.
I read a ton of M&B, Nails and Bones. I was like, hopeless romantic.
Yeah?
I'm still a hopeless romantic.
Yeah.
So I read tons of M&B. So I felt like the first guy I met and I fell in love with, I'll get married to her and all that. So fast forward a few years, a lot of heartbreaks because my expectations were so high. I was such a weak guy in retrospect.
Yeah.
You know, we got a point that I started believing maybe bad guys have all the fun. Like being nice is not working. You know, the person that has proved me wrong is my wife because that's the thing, you know.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to The Young God. My name is Rodney Omokache, and my guest today is one of the nicest guys you will ever meet. And he certainly isn't last in anything. Much like myself, he's an entrepreneur in the creative space. He's the founder of Eddie PR and iBlend, brand marketing agencies which have represented some of the top brands in the country and in the world. And much like myself, he's both a brand consultant and a brand ambassador. Not a lot of people can pull that off at the same damn time, so put some respect on his name. He's responsible for putting a lot of people on in the city. Almost everyone you know doing well in Abuja has been put on by this next guest. He's the plug of all plugs, and he has a big heart to go with that big body. He's an actor, a fitness enthusiast, style icon, a cigar savant, and a connoisseur of cognac. I stand a king with range. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest, Eddie Madaki. If you know Eddie, you probably know he's the guy they call when you want to get things done in this city. But we went beyond the surface with this one. We took it there. This is Eddie like you've never heard him. He opened up about work, about life, and about love. He shared his expert opinion on work culture in Abuja and how to hack it as a creative. He shared personal opinions on women and woke culture. He opened up about his guilty pleasures like meals and boom, man. And we talked about his lovely wife, Lulu, who gave him a PS5 and a son in the same damn year. In the midst of a panoramic. By the way, I can't wait to meet you, Lulu. If you're listening, do follow me back everywhere. You gotta tell your side of the story, okay? Okay. If you're listening to this podcast for the first time, it is best enjoyed while engaging in low concentration activities like doing the dishes, doing the laundry, commuting to work, or going for a walk over a glass of wine. But really, it's whatever you're comfortable with. This is an hour-long conversation, so you can use it to kill time in a variety of ways. You might want to keep a pen and paper on hand because Eddie and I were in the spirit, just dropping straight gem after gem after gem. Like pick 2, pick 4, pick 6, yo. Last card. Check out. I hope you enjoyed this episode half as much as I enjoyed putting it together. It's dope, it's deep, and Eddie brought it. So without further ado, let's start the show. We're here with Eddie Madaki of Eddie NPR. You all know him if you're in Abuja. You're welcome. Thanks for joining us. We're at Nuit de Paris.
Thank you.
Lovely sponsors of this podcast, and we're inside one of their VIP rooms. You can hear the ambience. A lot of things going on. I think they have some work going on at this time. Just trying to keep things fresh. But thanks again for joining me.
Thank you. It's an amazing space. I really like it.
No, wait till you see the other stuff.
Yeah?
It gets better. Yeah.
Awesome. Can't wait, man.
All right, so let's go into the detail of what you do, Eddie. Like, what do you do for your clients? What value do you deliver to them?
Okay, so I'm invested in 2 companies primarily. An integrated marketing firm called iBlend. We were incorporated as a business in 2010. I set that up with my brothers Andy and Oche. And what we do is that we provide creative business solutions to our clients. So this is a mix of marketing, PR, branding, event management. And we started out focused primarily on the entertainment sector at the time because we were looking to get mileage, visibility, and be part of the conversation. The only sector that allowed you to really sell and make a lot of noise was the entertainment sector. And we thrived there. We represented almost all the greats, Two-Face, Too Short, Timaya, album releases, media tours, and so on and so forth. There's a series of concerts over the years. And then we now evolved to take care of other business sectors. So we work with a few multilateral agencies like the British High Commission, the World Bank, WHO. We do work for FMCGs, the beverage companies, wine and spirit. And we do event activations with hospitality entities, clubs, hotels, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So under the iBlend umbrella, that's what we are focused on, creative business development solutions.
Yeah.
In 2015, I noticed that there was a shift in the market. So I had quite a lot of visibility on social media because I had been on reality TV fresh out of uni. I had done some modeling. So social media followership I was lucky to have like good social media followership, which I converted to like an audience and and a market where I could always sell and promote and really help my friends because I wasn't charging a fee. I was just pushing their products and events out there. And then I noticed that most smart brands were now focusing more on influencer-led marketing, which was not a big thing at the time. It was just like, okay, we'd rather talk to the person than the business.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Eddie, we want you to push, they want you to do that. So I now thought, okay, you know what, why don't we create like a smaller entity within iBlend, focus on digital PR and influencer marketing. And that's how Eddie NPR was born. So the goal of that was to service SMEs and then create a business entity for Eddie Madaki, and then he has now evolved to the digital marketing firm that it is today. A lot has happened over the years, but currently on personal recognition, as a business, like I said, we're taking care of a lot of brands, but currently I represent Louis XIII, which is the most luxurious spirit in the world.
Okay.
It was born in 1874, so it's been around for 350 plus years.
Okay.
It created the luxury cognac category in the market. I'm the only Nigerian in a team of about 300 people. It's been an interesting journey, and I'm sharing all this because you know where we come from. When I say where we come from, the fact that we're pretty out of Abuja, where professionals from this space, that's where the creative space or the communication space are not rated like that. So everything that I know, everything that I've built, I've learned that has given me access and given me this opportunity that also to represent such a powerful global brand that's based in Cognac. So I take care of this brand as brand consultant and brand ambassador. And it's a phenomenal journey because this brand is really targeted towards the top 1 percentile, in any market. So you're talking like the proper, affluent society. So that really is me in a nutshell and what I do.
You're heavily invested in the creative space. You've put that out there. What's your favorite part of that?
That's a tricky question, bro. So the thing for me, right? I just love to see things move from its conceptual stage till it becomes like a real compelling and sustainable entity. It's that journey for me, from the research and creating a concept and developing a brand and then seeing it to profitability and handing it over to the client. That is what really, really fuels me and puts that fire in my belly. But I think for me, copywriting will be the most exciting creative outlet for me. So when I was much younger, I was part of a 4-man gospel quartet called the Hebrew Boys.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so I started off with music, rap, hip-hop was my thing. I couldn't sing to save my life. So I was very, very introverted, but once I get on that stage to perform, or once I'm writing a song or a rap, I become somebody else completely. So that was my outlet, using my words. And then playing that whole make-believe, I'm like this different person, when I get on that stage. So that was it for me. And then it now translated to what I do today. So when I'm writing an ad copy or building a caption or putting together a press release, I want to tell such a compelling story that whoever is consuming that information is not left with any doubt as to why they should engage with this product or this event or why they should buy into this idea. And when it works, bro, you just feel
sweeter than mother's milk.
You feel like the young God. Let me take you on. Your tagline.
I love it.
Yeah, that's it for me, bro.
What we have in common here is that I also started out in music. When I was in uni, my friends and my stage name was Dirty Sexy Rodney. Bro.
I like it.
And I used to rap, I used to sing.
Wow.
In my dorm room with my guys, and I had the choice of being a musician or
producer?
No, or photographer. I was just really heavy, just creatively, just doing a lot of different things. So when I graduated, I had to choose Like, do I want to like chase this music thing full time, or do I want to go into photography? And I'm still yet to decide about
That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, that's
a whole different conversation.
But yeah, that was
because I think you're an inspiration. I think you're doing phenomenal work, bro.
Thank you very much. But if you want to hear some of the songs, what I do now is I have bonus episodes on the podcast where I share my music from back in the day and just like give my audience a glimpse of what Rodney was like when he was 21, 20 years old, 18, 19, and it was just crazy. Just girls, school, you know, flossing on a budget, you know. So I get what that's like, you know, starting from music, and then that just everything else just came from there, right? So I know you're heavy in the restaurant industry. Like you have clients like Jake's, Cilantro, Bombay to Beirut that's about to open up soon, and a host of others. You have experience working with them. So what advice would you give restaurants in this climate, this COVID climate that we're in right now, where, you know, customers are staying at home or just not patronizing as much?
Okay, so that was the reality early last year, between March, April. People were really, really super paranoid and scared to go out. Yeah. But our tea is here.
Yeah. Specialty.
Let me clear this up. So this will be my recommendation for hospitality outlets. Have a core product that is true to you, like in the sense of when people think about this facility, you know, they think about the amazing tea, right? When you think about, say, paper or vanilla, you're thinking good food and fantastic ambience that is very Instagrammable. You need to have one core value that sets your establishment outside from everything. It could either be the product that you serve or the experience, because at the end of the day, everybody's selling the same thing. You're selling food, you're selling drinks. Anybody can get that. So it goes down to the service and a very, very memorable brand element. So the big challenge is to figure out what works for you. So one thing that is certain is that the market is super ready. Most on-trade outlets, hospitality outlets like clubs, are hard hit by the pandemic. Most lounges are hard hit by the pandemic, but once you have a great loungy restaurant outlet, which is not too chaotic, people gravitate towards it because we are very, very communal, social beings. We want to engage. So of course, adopt the right COVID protocol, but have an experience that people cannot get just anywhere. And that will set you aside from anybody else. So if you see the places that are super successful now and really popular, Wingist and the group, you know, Hive, Eden, blah, 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 they are selling just based on the optics. You don't necessarily think about the experience of the food. It's just the optics. So that would be my recommendation. Have one compelling visual or experiential element that sets you aside from everybody else, and then deliver on your service so that people will keep on coming back. And that's the way to succeed in a pandemic. People would eat, people would drink. So it's a great space to be in.
It reminds me of why I got into branding.
That's actually how I knew you, you know. Initially, like I knew you had a branding agency.
Okay,
that's how I knew you, from afar. Yeah.
So exactly what you pointed out just now is why I got into branding. Because I remember when Jonathan lost the election, and Barry came in, and you know, money stopped flowing. Remember how money used to flow during Jonathan's time? It was just flowing.
It was falling off trees.
Bruh. And then
I remember.
Barry just closed the tap like this. And at that point, restaurants and places like this just couldn't exist without a plan anymore.
True.
They had to have...
It wasn't an auto run anymore.
Exactly.
Very true.
You know, so, and I was, before then I was a full-time photographer. So when I saw the gap, I was like, you know what, I've always wanted to like, not just be an executor, but a strategist, you know, the person who like came up with the concept that other people like executed. So what I did was I now reached back to my clients I had done photography work for, and they were the first ones who gave me the chance to like start to, you know, put out brand ideas and things for them. And then from there, it just grew. So what exactly you mentioned, right? Just telling them that, everyone is making food, and you know, everyone is, you know.
So what's your X factor?
That was the X factor, exactly. And they had no idea. So it was our people like us. It's our job to help them figure out what aspect of their brand is right for the taking. So yeah, let's have some tea. Let's pour this before we continue. I want you to have that in your throat. Okay, yeah, for you.
This looks so good, man. You know, the aromas and notes are literally taking over the room right now.
Yeah, man.
This is freaking awesome.
I know, right?
This is really good. And I'm a tea guy. You know, like that's literally something that my dad always gifts me when he travels. He tries to collect teas, you know, everywhere.
Yeah.
Kenya, Uganda, you know, Asia. So it's my thing. This is really nice, man. Thanks.
Cheers.
At least I've learned something new today.
Oh, there's more to learn. By the time we get deeper into this thing, oh, you're not ready for me today.
I am. I have time. I have time.
Shaped. Okay, let's get into it. As a long-term Abuja resident, right?
Yes, sir.
What would you say to anyone who's trying to thrive here? Like, what advice would you give them?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Abuja is, you know what they say, like there's nothing like an idea whose time has come. That's Abuja right now.
That's a good way to put it.
That's Abuja right now because I think I've been through it. So I moved back to Abuja in 2007.
Yeah.
At the time, you know, everybody is a publicist, you know, creative agency, blah, blah, blah. At the time, you had to convince people why they needed to advertise, why they needed to invest in digital marketing solutions, why they had to even pay for billboards, because it was such a civil service oriented town.
Oh, bro.
You know, it was paper pushers, pencil pushers, whatever. They just check the boxes, go work 8 a.m., close in the evening. People need houses, so the construction agencies are making money because there's an influx of people. People needed to eat, hotels, restaurants were making money. The clubs at the time didn't even have flyers. They didn't have to do promotions because people would show up regardless.
Yeah.
Then it was gardens that were thing, gardens and parks, you
Yeah.
know, circles, Eden, blah, blah, blah. So they were always full, you know. So then it was such an uphill battle. And I think that's where I, you know, really honed my battle skills, you know, in this thing of ours, because I was always up against that hill and, you know, pushing and trying to justify why they needed to change things around. And then I was also very, very result oriented, because if they invested in you after all that struggle, you had to show like real measurable results, right?
Yeah.
So for anybody that's trying to succeed in that Abuja space, that primarily is what I would push, because right now people are a lot more receptive, because competition has exploded. So anything you want to set up, somebody else is doing it, and somebody with probably more resources or more access, right? So as a practitioner, whether PR, creative, copywriter, brand guy, whatever, you need to, first things first, know your business very well. So whether you're understudying an agency, whether you get a basic certification course, don't wing it. Don't feel like, okay, I've seen Rod do this, I can do it. Understudy somebody, know the business, right? Number two, know your clients and know the market, because these are the two key things that will make or break you as a business. So one key thing with the Abuja market is a very, very trust-oriented consumer base or community. So people make their purchasing decisions, lifestyle decisions, consumer decisions based on trust factor, in the sense like if it's referred by Rodney, or if an Allegrema goes there, or if Charles is talking about it, or so on and so forth, then it is worth my time, because we have such a huge appreciation and expectation of quality that before people engage with anything, they want to know, they want to guarantee. Nobody's trying to be adventurous out here. So first things first, know the market, know what makes them tick. You might need to get into those communities that authenticate what you promote or what you sell, right? You might need to build those relationships. It can't be an island in Abuja, period. It's not like Lagos, where you have a concert or you open a new place, you buy tons of billboards, do sponsored ads, and people just show up. Abuja, it is very, very endorsement based. All right?
Yeah,
that's like the key currency here. Number two, really know your clients, So Abuja clients are in 2 tiers. Some people, and see, I don't know if Rodney has a cash app or something, because this tips that I give you is stuff that you have to pay for. So let's break bread afterwards. So if you're so inspired, check Rod's page, get on the cash app or whatever, support the podcast, right?
You heard the man. I don't have a cash app, but I have a pay stack. So if you're feeling generous and you feel like supporting this podcast financially, there's a donation link in the description of this and every other episode. The proceeds go to a good cause. The cause being me. I'm the cause, okay? Putting together these episodes on a consistent basis is a lot of work. So it's nice to be appreciated in ways that aren't just verbal, Financial feedback is highly encouraged and very much appreciated. Thank you.
Number two, you need to know your clients in Abuja. So there are 2 types of clients that predominantly, invest in our services in this space. They are the ones that want the resources, and they are doing it just that have the resources and are doing it just for vanity metrics. Yeah. In the sense that they just want the key indices that makes them look good. Yeah. Oh, I want to pop on social media. I want everybody talking about me. Mm-hmm. I want to be cool. I want to have access, right? Mm-hmm. And for those people, if you identify what makes them tick, if you know that the vanity metric is what means for them, and vanity metrics in this sense are indices that make them look good but don't necessarily impact the bottom line, right? Give them all that. If they want follower growth on social media, give them that. If they want good branding, if that's all they want, give them that. Sometimes you might have a conflict of creative direction because they keep on telling you, oh, this is what I saw in Dubai, this is what I saw in the UK. Yeah. This is exactly what I want. As a professional, you think you know better, obviously because of your space, but you tend to have this uphill battle where you're trying to fight them and convince them as to your value proposition. 2 things, you might now become very, very abrasive relationship and might lose the relationship entirely. So you might need to cave into their needs, give them what they want, but embellish it and elevate it a little bit. And then as the relationship evolves, you win that trust to throw it into the more. That's client type A. Client type B, they are very ROI driven. So for every dime they put in, the very next day they want it back. The very next day they want it back. You cannot impress people like that and razzle dazzle them with numbers and indices and reports and metrics and all that. It's about the bottom line. And that's where I've seen a lot of agencies fail in our market, because people think like, oh, I can handle your social media pages, I can host this event for you, I can get promoters. Is it really, leading to sales? So once you identify that and you cannot have like a very, very revenue driven oriented approach in your marketing communications or branding approach, and you win with clients like that, the multiplied effect is that you get more referrals, they introduce you to more people. As your business is growing, you also grow as well. So know your business 100%, bring like real value to the table, know the kind of clients that you're dealing with. Most importantly, understand this North Central market like the back of your hand, and it's always changing. There are new players, there are new thought leaders, there are new focus groups. Understand and know those spaces. Get embedded if you have to be, and always leverage on those relationships that authenticate your value. So that is hacking the Abuja market for you.
One of the things that stepped out to me. What am I even saying? That came at me. One of the things you said was the aspect of interpersonal relationships.
Oh yeah.
And that's so key, because what I found out in my own journey is that before someone can believe in you as a business, they have to believe in you as a person. They have to trust, And now it's no secret why Eddie is so successful in what he does. Because bro, you're extremely personable.
Thank you.
You are bro, and I say this with all the because it's rare. I don't know, and you know this. People are either assholes out there, very insecure. They have all kinds of hidden agendas, and they don't know how best to coexist with others in this space. And somehow you manage to I've met this maybe my 3rd time being in a space with you. But I know the first time, the second time, even just because I know when you speak so highly of you.
That's my girl.
Exactly. So I get it. It's part of that interpersonal relationship. You gotta have that vibe, that aura, that thing. So I always say to people everyone's talking about going to do this course, going to study these things, do all these things. Work on yourself, man. Work on yourself, because when you enter these meetings, they might not believe, they might not understand jack shit you just explained about what you can do for them, but they might like how you talk to them, how you approach them, the vibe you throw out.
You are right on the mark.
Right.
There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do it all.
Yeah.
And do it like amazingly well.
Yeah.
You know, just find a system that works for you. So for me, it is very, very key to go to the ringer. I believe in servitude. I believe in capacity development. I don't think you should wing anything in life.
Yeah.
Some people excel that way because my wife is like that. My wife is, she is such a flighty creative. She's has one of the finest minds when it comes to design. So she does work with collaborators, we create a festival of lights together. She does all our brand and trade activations. The way her mind thinks is like so fast. But she doesn't write anything down. It drives me crazy. I have to pull Excel sheet presentation. I have to look at the numbers. So it's different for everybody, but I think it's very, very essential for you to go through the rungs. She's a UK certified event planner. I did my training with the British Council and walked the plank UK, you know, so put in the work. Put in the work so that when you're coming to collect Rod's value, you're not extorting him based on this grandiose idea of what you think is possible. What you're bringing is back to real empirical evidence and facts and research, you know, measurable things.
Man, what you dropped too far. Like Eddie said, man, who are we cash upping by the time you guys are done with this?
You know.
We might be laughing, but we're very, very serious. Click the link in the bio to support the young god. That's if you feel inspired, of course. Thank you very much. Now, let's take it to Twitter real quick.
Yes.
Let's take it to Twitter. So,
But I'm really on Twitter. I'm a little bit scared right now.
Nah, don't worry. This one is gonna put you in a very interesting light, guys. So something happened on Twitter in December of 2020.
But actually, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I bookmarked that tweet.
Are you serious?
I bookmarked it. Yeah.
I don't even read my bookmarks, man.
You should. You see some things that you saved. I go back sometimes, 2017, like, nigga,
amazing stuff, right?
For, you know? Yeah.
Nice.
You know, anyway, so the new PS5 is out, and you shared this amazing video of you getting a PS5 gifted to you by your wife on Twitter. Now, you know how every boy or every guy, you know, the rave of PS5 is which girl is buying it for her guy, you know, and
that was going on since like August last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, to be fair and truth be told, not a lot of guys got that, because a lot of guys are fuckboys and not a lot of girls can put their money where their niggas are, you know?
They can, they just don't feel guys deserve it.
Yeah.
Bro.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Women have a lot more disposable income than us.
Yes, actually.
You can have a millionaire now, bro. Everything is accounted for. How much you want to sort out your siblings, you want to put that money for a house, you're thinking about car expenses, internet, you know, subscriptions, taking care of your woman. So it might look like a lot, but it's never really yours. Like if you are raised right, you know what? For I think if you're a decent man, I'm not that nobody's perfect. If you're a decent man, what gives you satisfaction? The fact that you can take care of the people you love.
Yeah.
So you work as hard as it is. Your luxury is for me, I like my cigars, video games. I think that's my only like real ostentatious, you know, indulgence. But everything else is accounted for.
Yeah.
And please, women, I don't mean this in the wrong way, but I think they can, you know, I think they have like more room to be creative with their disposable income.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, that's the way I see it.
That is true, because your money is their money,
exactly.
And their money is their money.
100%. Yeah.
It's live. Okay, so let me play the video for you just in case you forgot what that was about, because I know you haven't seen that video in some time.
No, I haven't.
So this is.
Yeah, you have like the OG version.
Real unboxing video.
Bro, I thought she was trying to prank me because she's crazy like that.
It would have been a very expensive joke, though.
And we have been watching pranking videos.
Look at that. Beauty. It's heavy, too.
It's heavy, bro.
He's hugging it. Oh my god.
She had to call me. I was like,
she called you out, bro.
My wife is like, she's my best friend. Like, she's my guy. You know, I think she's helped me grow as as a human being 100%, because the time I met her, I was in a very dark space. I'd come out of a shitty relationship. At that point, all that mattered to me was to build myself and not need anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, I've always had that chip on my back, you know, to make it on my own terms and impact, you know, society. But she was understanding in a way that I had never seen before. She was tolerant in a way that I've never seen before.
Really?
And then we started out working together.
Okay.
You know, and then she is this boss chick, you know, so she wasn't even ready to be with a guy that's feeling sorry for himself. She was like, do you know who you are? Do you know everything that you've achieved? Like, she's one of those women that will speak positivity into you when you feel like you don't have it at all.
Oh, wow.
And that is where I think our generation gets it wrong. You know, you might hear it in church, you might hear it from our mothers, you might hear it from our father, you know, oh, uplift your man, you know, the woman is supposed to support, blah, blah, blah. All progressive, feminism, equity, equality, 100%. But I also feel women have a gift and a power that they don't use enough, which is the way God has designed women. They literally are like mini gods on earth in terms of they can create and change, you know, the outcome of things just by their utterances and their courage. So for every successful man, there's a woman that's driving him, whether he's married, daughter, mother, whatever. There's always that influence. Check, go back into time.
Yeah.
Always, right? And for every man that ain't worth shit, right? If you check, there's a strong possibility that a woman had that power and influence to drain him of everything that, you know, he could be.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm blessed to have a woman like that in my life. So we're equals, right? So we started out working together. We consulted a bunch of projects together. We didn't even think we're gonna date, and it just happened. So we were pregnant through lockdown. We had our baby in July, and since the next gen was being advertised, like I was gonna get this, but the problem was, you know, the scarcity everywhere. So I kept on letting her know, because you know what I said about everything's accounted for when it comes to our resources.
Yeah.
You know, we can get a car. It's practical. You're driving from point A to B.
Yeah.
You know, errands as the business. You know, house. It makes sense, right? But to spend, let me put it in Nigerian money, to spend $500,000 or $700K or close to 1M plus games and controllers on a freaking video game. Do you understand?
While you have a family.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
So no matter how much you have, it's a conversation that you have to be sure that your partner is okay with, you know? So I always used to tease her like, fam, how fun? Like, you know, I need an upgrade. You know, I haven't got anything for myself in a while, you know? And she just laughed, like, you know, that's just crazy. Like, I can go and get it for myself. That's on me. Funny enough, I couldn't find a vendor. I couldn't, and there were scalpers and scammers everywhere.
Bro.
And I had so many horror stories. COVID happened, so shipping from the UK, even my guys in the UK, GameStop, everybody, cards were not, remember when cards were not working on iTunes, Amazon, you know, Walmart, the States, nothing. You know, I don't know how this woman figured it out. So we were watching a bunch of, what you may call it, you know, all these prank videos. They'll give a kid a PS box, brings it out, and then, you know, it's like flawed accident, and then start wailing. So we were watching all these fail and prank videos and laughing. And I don't know what she saw, what she felt, because I really wanted to get that PS5, at least for my birthday, to gift it to myself. And she never said anything. And I was, you know, making calls and all that, which was why she gave it to me for the new year, because she knew if she didn't, like, I'll probably dole out some ridiculous money and, you know, buy it from like a third hand, you know, retailer or something. So she went out for something in December, and then I was home working, you know, I was on my computer, and then she was now screaming my name from the living room. Eddie. So I was like, what? Like, what is this? So I came out, and she's very, very mischievous. You know, she plays a lot. Like, she's never serious.
Yeah.
So I thought she was just up to another one of her silliness. I came out, I was like, what? Then I saw she was holding her phone. Then I looked into the foreground of the shot, and then I saw the box. Bro, like, I literally fell on the ground. Like, I was like, this is crazy. Like, what?
Oh my god.
And I had called somebody to see if they had consoles and they had extra controllers because she plays as well. You know, so she was privy to all this conversation. So I was a question and I said, okay, let me come box. I came, you know, the seals, you know, the tapes on it and everything. Unboxed it. Like it was freaking amazing.
I can't imagine
It was freaking amazing.
She gave you a son and she gave you a PS5 in the same goddamn year, bro.
They don't make them like that no more.
They don't.
I'm freaking lucky.
And you know, and I'm glad you mentioned two things that are very interesting. You said she's a mini god, right?
Oh yeah.
And why that's interesting to me is that, are you familiar with the goddess Athena?
Yes.
If you know anything about her story,
Yeah.
one of the things that she does is that she selects honorable men who are doing the most, and she guides them in their adventures.
Yeah, quest and yeah.
And one of the ways she guides them is that she stands behind them and she whispers in their ears what they should do, encouragement.
Bro.
And I'm making an episode about that later on, like in March for Women's Month, like the Athena woman. I think, like you said, they're so rare.
Oh, that's a powerful tagline. The Athena, they're so rare.
Yeah.
And this is a whole where the world has evolved in an amazing way, because it's beautiful to see that younger women have a voice now. They are not like their mothers. They won't suffer the rubbish. And we also saw our mothers go through some crazy stuff because the male influences we had, you know, they did their best, but it was based on the information they had and based on the tradition that we used to. They were alpha males. Everybody was created to serve them and worship the ground, walk on and blah, blah, blah. So our mothers were like the real superheroes. Like everything that, let me say 80% of who I am, you know, I would, you know, attribute it to my mom, and, you know, like the conversations and the trainings, you know, and everything. So there is also a level of resentment. There's also some amount of passion and energy and drive that today's woman has, that from the onset, they are not trying to be shut down or, you know, controlled or dominated and all that. And it's a beautiful thing, but at the same time, it also shuts doors to some conversations and making real connections for some, because once you have seen so much negativity perpetrated by men and abuse perpetrated by men, life just feels like it's war. You know? And that's why the Athena woman concept is not a popular thing now, because a lot of women are defensive. And then there are a lot of guys that are also skeptical because they just feel like, you know, every conversation can go downhill. So there's a huge dearth of trust in relationships and intergender relationships. And I would love to see how you navigate it through your podcast. I feel like we can get along if we choose to listen to each other a little bit more and be a lot more tolerant. You know, than just, you know, have like real, you know, rigid perceptions as to how to navigate life and, you know, the prejudices that both parties
and the intergender relationships.
Yeah, because men go through crazy stuff as well. Men go through abuse, men go through depression, we have higher suicide rates with dealing with stuff. You know, so for me, I never expect, I feel like I've been put on earth to serve, you know, my career, family, whatever. I'm also the first son, so, you know, first children, I used to sacrifice and everything. Give your younger brother the remaining kid, give him that bigger piece of meat, you know. You already have a job, so you're going to do your master's in the UK or the States, let your siblings, you know, all those things. And you don't even think about it. You don't even think about it, but the thing is, at the end of the day, you're a human being, right? And there are times where you're private and you're alone and you think about these things and, you know, it really, really breaks you. It really, really breaks you. And we are created, I think we're not created whole. We're half, and then whatever entity completes you somewhere out there in the world. And then you are so fortunate to connect, be it with a man or a woman or a partner or a business partner, whatever, good for you. And if you're blessed and lucky enough to find that match in a life partner, women have built some of the amazing properties and entities in the world, from Michelle Obama with Obama, from even Lady Diana and the amazing kids that she raised, you know, before her death, and how they've impacted, you know, culture and society till today, you know. So I think,
look at Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
That's what I'm saying. Who would have believed in centuries of the British monarchy that you will have an interracial marriage that was accepted by the royal family? Living in Buckingham Palace, yes, Meghan, you know, had her own ideas of how things could be, and then decide not to be royals. It's a huge decision and heartbreaking one, of course, when you have that level of tradition. But who would have thought it was ever possible? Like, things are evolving and changing, and that's strictly because of the influence of Lady Diana and how inclusive and progressive she was. And these men are icons. They are not just royalty; they are real icons of culture in our society. So yeah, I think it'll be great to see how conversations like this inspire pop culture and inspire us to be tolerant, listen to each other more, be better on both sides of the table, because I just think we're too abrasive with our individual narrative that we don't listen to the other parties enough.
Bro, you think about it in terms of, you think of this young woman today and how they were so traumatized by what they experienced that they went from one extreme to the other extreme.
Yeah.
So it's like they couldn't find any middle ground, and they need that. Like, middle ground is where the magic is at, because now they're missing out on a lot of experiences because they've just closed themselves off. So you can see how it affects their relationship to men, to marriage. Like, a lot of girls don't want to get married, or they're so like scared of it because of what they think they've seen.
Oh yeah, and what they've experienced as well.
Yeah, and then childbirth.
I saw that thread. Yeah.
Yeah, so like women have this thing where like anything that seemed like difficult or that was detrimental to them, they've like gone the other way, as opposed to thinking of, you know what, I'm an individual, I can create for myself, I can find a partner, I can create my marriage in the way I want it, I can do the things I can do to make my childbirth as stress-free as I can possibly help it, so that if a complication is to happen, it's like, it's life, not that I maybe was drinking too much I was stressing about some things that, the kind of thing, like, this is the mindset that women...
So here's the thing, and truth be told, anybody that decides to leap to those extremes is justifiable, because we cope with things in different ways.
Yeah.
So it's quite a tricky dynamic. And the way I see it, like you rightfully said, is that...
But is it justifiable if it hurts them in the long run?
That's the point that I'm getting to, right? There's something one of my line supervisors told me a while ago. He was like, everything in life is politics and psychology.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're going to grow in a work environment, you need to know the politics of that space.
Yeah.
You need to have the right emotional intelligence to play the psychological games necessary to manipulate and go through blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But if you come with a closed off, like you said, a closed off mentality, you'll miss out on a lot of opportunities and intrigues and windows where you can excel and also take advantage of certain scenarios to empower yourself. As much as I understand and appreciate the need to be protected, we've also seen huge success in this jump into this extreme, See, for instance, see the impact of the Feminist Coalition during the NSAS movement.
Yeah.
That was wholly driven by women.
Yeah.
They've also shown that within their community they can empower, and grow. But at the end of the day, we are an entire ecosystem of different genders and choices and sexualities and all that. So inclusivity is everybody's responsibility, but there is obviously a very, very huge trend of this extreme. How we navigate it is left to see, because you really can't police this thing. But I think it's really sad. I think as guys we need to do better, and I also think women could be a lot more tolerant. A lot more tolerant, because if I'm trying to say, listen, so this thing that happened to you is really messy, tell me more, and then I can't have this conversation because the first thing is, F that, all men are the same, you guys are this and that. I would never be able to come to that forum to want to share or even be able to understand if I feel like it's going to be that abrasive dynamic all the time, So it's crazy. We have a responsibility, and every other party has a responsibility as well. We'll get there.
But at this rate, I don't know. I guess in the end, it's just a matter of everybody just figuring out what works for them individually, which is why like the individual. If you've made it this far, you're a real one. Speaking of real ones, this episode of The Young God is sponsored by Nuit de Paris, and they are as real as it gets. They are one of the few brands that took a chance on me and my podcast, and I would be remiss, also contractually obligated, if I didn't shout them out. Nuit de Paris is hiding, literally, in Wuse 2, Abuja, but they are very visible on Instagram at Nuit de Paris NG. That's NUITDE Paris NG, one word. And while they serve all kinds of amazing food and drink in an amazing space, the real star of their menu is their special tea. That's literally what it's called. Special tea. Don't just take my word for it though. Just ask Eddie.
This is freaking awesome.
I know, right?
It's really good.
Speaking of tea, I hope you're enjoying the special tea Eddie is spilling on this podcast. Let's get back to it before you lose your appetite. Like you think of colorism now, right? So there was a problem where dark-skinned girls or dark-skinned people were maybe denied opportunities for their skin color. So rather than fixing that by coming to a middle ground, what's happened? Light-skinned girls are now like upping themselves. So now there's a real debate about dark-skinned and light-skinned girls in the undertone of every conversation. When if a dark-skinned girl posts something, do you get that these things are happening and we can't see the damage it's doing, because we always want to like tip the scale. Do we want to do I do you, do me I do you, or do we want to just like remove that barrier completely of what color does? When we look at black and white conversations, what Martin Luther King was always promoting is like, judge me by the content of my character, not the color of my skin. And we've like kind of missed that, because every time it goes back to white people are this, black people are this. But in the end, when you talk about love, when you talk about inclusivity, when you talk about like really caring for your fellow neighbor and not making it an us versus them narrative, that's where the change is. And you can see how that now translates into everything from gender to sexism to everything. And it's crazy. I'm just watching this and
race, yeah. And this has really been the undertone of conversation at this point. It boils down to tolerance, right?
Yeah.
How do I even say this and I won't be vaguely politically correct? I think this whole culture of giving performance medals for everything is breaking the world and raising multiple generations of individuals that cannot deal with reality, right? So there's a whole community school of thought and research that feels like education and rating systems is not necessary. You should not let people go through high school, let people go through university, give them certificates and they will thrive. The essence of these things were to challenge yourself and develop yourself. So the brain is the muscle, right? Yeah. If I don't study arithmetic, if I don't improve on my English, if I have dyslexia, if I have ADHD, going through this system, this process will help me identify things that need to improve, and then I can work those muscles and be better at it. But if I am ignorant of my weaknesses and I don't fix them, at the end of the day, what is turned out to society is a crappy, weak, with minimal value individual that becomes a burden or dependent to society. What I like is the reality, right? But because we have come from generations and generations of alpha males and powerful women and strong people, I don't know how through all the successes and victories that they have impacted to our generation, which we have benefited from, whether it's generational wealth or wealth of experience and knowledge, whether it's medicine, somebody did all the research and cut people off, whether it's architecture, buildings and colorism and nuclear, people put in that work. Yeah. So why don't you take from history and then improve with it over time? What you find now is that everybody just is like super sensitive, that they have lost the grasp on reality. Yeah. You cannot speak freely and communicate about anything. It is such a gray area. Celebrities get on Clubhouse and they are policed on what they say and what they don't say. Right. Colorism, people have a preference, So I saw the baby, and then some girl was, some light-skinned girl who was actually Dominican was cancelled because she did a line, talking about, the fact that he likes her because she's light-skinned. That's his preference. He's a black guy. Both parents are black, right? You have the Kardashians that have a thing for black guys, then black girls are mad. Like, do you understand? The black guys that with them, and so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, you're talking about choice. It's my decision. I want this. I want that. I want to cut this out. So why is it that when somebody else decides that this is what works for them, you now want to police them and shoot them down? So the hypocrisy and the irony when it comes along tolerance is really, really messed up. I think it's very, very important that we don't lose our grasp on reality. I think it's key that we hold ourselves accountable. Body positivity is a great thing. I don't think I'm in the best shape of my life compared to where I was years ago. But, you know, I can ride my bike 20 kilometers. I'm fine with that. My health is great. You know, I'm pushing my 150 kg bench press max. Those are the little wins for me. You know, I know there's room for growth, but I'll tell you this for free. I know that I can never be 400 pounds or 300 kg because I have a wife and kid I need to take care of. That's me being morbidly obese, right? So that is a problem that I know I never want to get into. But when let's say I have a friend I care about that I say is overweight and I see, you know, they can't run up a flight of stairs, you know, their lease on life might be short-sighted by all that. In this time and age, you cannot have a conversation with that individual without being called fatphobic. Do you understand? So it's super tricky. In the space of PR, in the space of communication, in the space of branding, we deal with these challenges and all the social constructs consistently because when you represent a client, when you represent yourself, when you represent a celebrity, you are always thinking, what can I talk about? What can I talk about? You know, so it is interesting. Sometimes it is frustrating, you know, because, for instance, I'm 37, so I am still close to an era where we got a lot of tough love and, you know, the whole wokeness thing literally just started in our time. A lot of people I see on Twitter, today, on social media, were born into this woke lifestyle where they have zero tolerance or understanding of the realities of life and then challenges. That's why the society is spiking up because nobody prepares you for reality. You know, if you had a dad like mine that was ex-military and worked hard for his money and everything, and he was always telling, listen, you have to get your grades right. You have to know how to use a tire iron and change tires. You have to do this. You have to protect your siblings. You know your responsibilities and what thank you, and what, you know, life is going to dish out. You know, the same way you have kids in the States, you know, that their parents teach them from when they are 4 or 5, like where the cop stops you, putting on the dashboard and all that. Imagine saying that, you know what, you are 100%, you know, authenticated in your reality, blah, blah, blah. So if they ask you this, ask them about it. Next is some racist guy shooting you in the head because I'm this woke guy. I'm saying, you don't get to talk to me like that. Reality is completely different.
It's different.
It's completely different. So it's an interesting dance that you have to know how to manage, you know, what you think is ideal versus what obtains in the real world. And then having this objective balance of both views help you navigate this journey of life and be better at it. It just shows that a large extent of this wokeness is also driven by FOMO, fear of missing out. Everybody just wants to jump on trends and conversations. You get on Clubhouse, people are talking about shit that they do not know about and they have never experienced. And then they make opinions over that, they make lifestyle choices over that, and they, you know, they now create resolutions based on that, like these extremes that you talk about. Tolerance, inclusivity. It's a two-way street. Not everybody's the villain in the story.
Man, I'm so glad we're talking about this because I know that the people who need to hear this will hear this.
And this was somewhere we set out to talk about it.
It wasn't. It all started from Luli getting you a PS5.
And so it's not even like a proper deviation because a lot of people said, now person will do so and so, and deserve PS5. It is not a give or take thing, right? Lulu could have got me a pair of boxers and singlets. I'll be super grateful because as a man,
you need that shit.
Whoever is listening, men really, really do not expect to be appreciated. They say the only person that is loved unconditionally, I think it was Chris Rock that said it, are women and children.
And dogs.
If you pay bills, if you gift your partner this, you send her on a spa dates, blah, 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 you're not bribing them for anything. It's your role and your responsibility, right? But when she got me that PS5, I was floored, and in fact, I even shed a tear when I saw the message she posted on Twitter, because these are not conversations she has with me. When the lockdown started, And then power was really bad. I was like, you know what, we already had an inverter. Let me just upgrade this so that this one can be comfortable. She's spending more time at home. And I asked her for permission because she's very shrewd. She doesn't want you to be wasteful, you know? I said, like, yeah, you know, if you want to, you know, but I was doing for comfort, you know, so all those little things, you know, the fact that she noticed, like, bro, this thing freaking floored me.
I have the message right here.
Yeah.
I'm going to read it out.
You can read it.
Can I read it out?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what Lulu, Eddie's wife, had to say about Eddie after he posted the PS5 video. She said, and I quote, "Thank you for that expensive ass inverter you had to buy so I'd never be without light at home. We've had light constantly for 2 years. Thank you for always filling up my tank and servicing my car. Thank you for all the cooking and cleaning during lockdown / our pregnancy." Close quote. Bro, you know the most beautiful thing she said?
Go.
Our pregnancy.
Yeah.
I picked up on that because you know how women always react to that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Bro, Lulu, she sounds like an amazing person. I can't wait to meet her.
She is an amazing person. When she was pregnant, I was speaking to like everybody that I know that has kids. Are like, man, how do I do this? How do I do this? You know what? This period, what you owe your partner is to be supportive. Like you have to just make them super comfortable, you know.
Yeah.
And then as God, we have a very, very busy schedule. And my career has me traveling everywhere. Lockdown happened, so I was there for everything. I didn't miss one antenatal. It was just a godsend, you know. I was there for the childbirth. It was just us, you know. So it was a beautiful time to grow together and bond. And then, like I said, she's my guide, you know. She's my friend. So going to these messages, bro, I cannot enumerate the things that Lulu has done. Do you understand? Yeah. So me, I'm a very, very practical person. You know, when we started working together, when we have all these big 3,000, 4,000 person concerts, I'm the one working with security, I'm the one behind the stage, you know, I'm getting on stage, getting BTS, I'm making sure everything is working. And she would check me and say, like, listen, if you're going to get to the next stage of your career, you have to have a certain persona and courage, right? So I know you like to do things a certain way, but delegate and empower this people in your team to do some of the things you already do. You don't have to be all over. Like, she would check you like that. When I'm traveling, like, what the hell are you wearing? You're wearing sweats and a snapback to go to the airport. You know you're going to meet if you're in business class. Do you understand? Yeah. So you know, all those little things. So those are things that she has crafted and built me up. And then insights with business, financial support, you know. So we had equals. Do you understand? Yeah. We are equal. So it's not as if it was something that she was saving for, like, okay, this guy has done so much and I need to. It wasn't, you know, and that's what people need to get. You know, the dynamic is not about competition. If you care about somebody, all these things, it's really the thought that counts. Yeah. Because she didn't have gotten anything in the world. She would have gotten a Rolex. In fact, she was going to buy me one of his luxury watches from Zaka. Yeah. I had to convince her out of it. And this was years ago. You know, it's just the fact that for as long as she's known me, she's like, okay, this guy's one indulgence. Do you understand? You know, so, you know, knowing your partner and having somebody that really sees you is what is priceless. That really sees you and chooses to love you even when you're at your worst. Yeah. And vice versa, because marriage, relationships, forget all the butterflies in your tummy and all that ideological stuff. It gets to a point that is a choice that you have to work out, like day in, day out. Day in, day out. And as long as you have the desire and passion to go on that journey together, you guys will be freaking unstoppable, man. Shit.
This would be a good episode to drop on Valentine's Day. I wasn't sure when I was going to drop it. But yeah, like these are the ideals I aspire to, man. And when I think that people just need to calm down and just focus on bringing their best selves to whoever they're with. And then just because they say that when two people operate authentically between each other, God is the energy that flows between, that highest good, that understanding, that's simpatico. And I think a lot of people in that generation don't get that. They just think it's all about, you know, what you can get, you know, or the optics of it all.
The optics.
Yeah. It can be so
like I said, performance medals. That vanity metrics is what we live for. What looks good, not the reality. Like what, at the end of the day, can you quantify your wins through this journey? If you can't, then you're failing. Yeah. You know, so if everybody thinks like everything is gravy with you and it's not, and you're doing yourself a disservice, man. It's just like you have this podcast, right? And maybe for some people, like you see YouTubers, they actually subscribe. Like, I'm not begging you. At the end of the day, it has to be profitable. They give you content to deserve something back. But you now have content creators that want to create this illusion that they are all there and they don't ask for what they deserve.
Yeah.
So imagine you are in a room with Gary Vee, and you know if you spoke up in that room, Gary Vee will come to your podcast. You now have opportunity to introduce yourself. Oh, I want a top podcast in Nigeria. I have so and so listeners and subscribers. It's like, oh yeah, congratulations, and that's it. And then you won't get the plug because you're so keen on the optics to look good in that situation as opposed to communicating the reality and value you bring to the table, which is what happens with our generation, even the older generation today. It's all about looking good and doing good, man. You have done very well in curating conversations with some of the most impressionable and powerful minds in the business. Break boundaries. You know, people like myself, you know, Charles, Aisha, blah, blah, blah. There's nobody that you want to talk to in this country that you don't already know somebody that has access to that person.
Yeah.
Create a wish list and be freaking ticking it off. Be that guy that gets into the room to connect these boundaries. The Young God podcast also has the value that talks about a broad range of topics besides lifestyle and arts and all that. There is a huge disconnect between our generation and the older generation. You could be that bridge because it's the forum that a lot of people do not understand. You understand?
Yeah.
So it's another facet. So as you identify personalities and individuals that give you some level of exclusivity, you can break news. You know, that's what drives virality. The TMZs of this world, Twitter thrives on that because Twitter gave everybody access and free reign to microblogs. So it became like the destination breaking news site over CNN and all that. So traditional media that wanted to survive had to create Facebook pages, had to create Instagram pages and Twitter pages so that they can be a part of the conversation because they're not the ones breaking things. So if I want to drop a song, I drop the link. I won't go to Billboard's 100 or the Source magazine or Vibe and say, give me an interview.
Yeah.
The game has changed.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So being the first point or top of mind when it comes to leading these conversations, I think that should be your goal going forward. Impressionable, you know, super smart, good looking gentleman. I think the world is at your feet right now. So I hope that counts for something.
Bro, you hit the nail on the head with everything you said.
Yeah.
So my last topic is I call myself a god, right? A young god, so to speak, and you refer to yourself as the Black Hulk. What's that about?
So I've always worked out, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward, ultimate and everything, I'm moving back to Abuja, working at the bank. Finish work, I'll go to the gym. I started out with a place here, I would say it's just down the road called Energy. I've forgotten this plaza by Open University. There was a gym on the first floor called Energy. And then my friend Rosemary Okala introduced me to Bodyline. I started working at Bodyline. They were one of my first PR accounts. Them and shout out to Mr. Banky and Funke Awobokun of Grills In and Out. Those were like my first key powerful PR accounts. They trusted me very early. I started working at Bodyline. And I wasn't big then, but I always had strength, right? So, you know, I used to lift like real heavy with like the big dudes, you know, so I was part of that community. And then I used to post it online. So one of my guys saw one of my routines, Atta, you know the Canon?
The Canon
photography.
yeah.
So, you know, so Atta just started calling me like, man, bro, you're the fucking Hulk. Pardon my French, I don't know if this is R-rated.
You can swear on
Is it you're the Hulk? You know, it's got me Black Hulk. I was like, why? I was like, listen, physically, you're already a beast, but you literally do not see barriers. Like, it's like Hulk's smash. Anything you set your eyes into, your hearts to, whatever it is, you just smash through it. I was like, okay, this is fun. I was like, okay, joking. I was like, I'm going to put it on my profile. And I put it on Facebook, and it stuck. Everybody kept on calling me that. So it was a mix of physicality, but it was more about my work ethos and ideology. Mentality, yeah.
And see, I would never have guessed that. No one would ever have guessed that.
Nobody would.
And that's why we should ask these questions.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're the Hulk, not just physically, but also in all the ways that matter.
Yeah.
Man,
I guess.
Eddie, this has been great.
Thank you, bro.
This is a great way to like wrap up. Wait, one more question. What's the best version of yourself? What do you see that as? What are you working towards? Paint me a picture. Paint my listeners a picture.
So, for me, the best version of myself would be an individual that has created a compelling legacy that takes care of future generations. And when I mean future generation, I'm not talking about my family. I'm talking about Nigerians to come. I've always felt that my gift was that God gave me a voice, and my challenge was how to use that voice. So that's how I ended up in PR. I've represented political entities. I've worked like different entities that have shaped certain things in our society. The best version of myself will be that when I'm remembered, it should be remembered as that individual that shaped our reality to something that's a lot more positive than Nigerian society.
So who do you need to be for that to happen?
Who do I need to be for that to happen?
What do you need to work on? What kind of skills, mentality, like?
For me, I think I'm gonna need to clone myself. Facilitation is a key thing for me. So I feel success is better when shared, and if you're gonna make real impact, you have to spread and teach everything that you have learned. So for me, if I can raise people to be better than me and then influence society positively over time, I would have done my job on here. Because I think we as a society, as a community, as an industry, we need a paradigm shift. You know, so my ideologies and work ethos has worked for me thus far. If I can mirror that to future generations or my understudies and mentees, I think it will have like long-reaching impact. You know, so whether it's called the Eddie complex or whatever down the line, I don't know. But that's what success would mean to me. You know, that I've influenced change on that level.
You know what? I wish we could talk forever. This is over like 1 hour 40 minutes now.
Oh wow!
But
I haven't had this in a long time, so thank you for having me.
I know, right? This is so therapeutic. Just having to express these things.
Oh yeah.
And thank you for doing this, taking time out of your busy day. I know you could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're here with me. And
Appreciate it,
bro, I have no doubt that whoever's gonna listen to this, man or woman, you know, is gonna hear this and take something from it, because you spoke from the heart.
Oh yeah.
And you spoke without, you just spoke what you believe, and that counts for something in this world. And like you said, people are free to speak their minds on things because everyone's so sensitive. And so spaces like this are important for me because I know that I have all kinds of,
Yeah, fearless.
I try, man.
Yeah, freaking fearless.
Before I hit tweet or send.
Yeah. I see them all the time, man. You have to be yourself unapologetically so. And that's what shines through. So I think you are, right on the mark. And bro, you're winning, man. So
I'm trying.
Definitely doing something right.
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. So, guys, this is Eddie Madaki of Eddie NPR, iBlend, married to Lulu Evon, who got me a PS5. He's glowing right now and he's winning. When I told you on Clubhouse, you're winning, bro. Whether you know it or not. Because I have an eye for these things. I know people who are like winning in all aspects of their life, or at least doing the right things to make sure that in the long term, when you look back, it's like, I'm all right, I have nothing to regret. So I know it, I can sense it, and I want the same for myself. So when I see someone like you doing your thing, I'm like, Eddie, keep Hulk smashing, man.
Yeah, I just have to say I've been blessed to have a lot of great role models that shared, honestly and fearlessly like this, and has also held us accountable over time. So I'm looking to have more conversations with you like this. As men, we have to hold each other up and hold each other accountable.
Oh, yeah.
We have to do better.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only way that will shape, better generations going forward.
Well said it.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, brother.
And this is the Young God. You made it. This was a treat from beginning to end, wasn't it? What did you take from it? What stood out to you? How do you feel now that it's all said and done? These questions matter when you consume this kind of content. Don't just move on to something else like it's beans. These are pearls, you. Reflect and internalize. That's how you get wise. That said, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, best believe that there is more where that came from. There are over 100 episodes that cover a variety of topics and guests. There's something for everyone. Every episode, every conversation, every story is dripping with insights that will delight you, make you think, and put you onto new things. Things you don't hear every day. Things people don't usually say. We take it there. week in, week out. Do follow the podcast on IG at The Young God Pod and Twitter at I Am The Young God for more God level content. New episodes drop every Saturday at midnight, so do subscribe and do share. I'm your host, Rodney, and I wish you a blessed day and a blessed mind. Rodney